Well, it was like 90 degrees today. So this afternoon, I decided I would run into town, during the hot part of the day, and I picked up a few beverages. But I noticed a thing that I've been noticing more. People are getting weird. Um, they're like kind of on the edge, kind of short-tempered. Oh, I don't know. I guess it's just stress. Oh, here comes the dog. And maybe it has to do with, it's the weekend or getting to the weekend, and maybe they're pissy because they have to work, or I don't know. Uh, it's unusual for around here. Usually, people are real friendly and real helpful. It's just kind of in their nature. But I think that's kind of changing a little. Well, I better not talk too long. This phone is almost dead on the battery, so she could shut down at any time. But I just thought it was interesting. There's been a change in people. I mean, part of it maybe has to do when they were in the lockdowns. People became a little more antisocial. Right after the lockdowns, then everybody was really chipper. Oh man, they were out. And they wanted to talk to everybody. But I think things kind of piled up on them now, and they're I see people spending money like crazy. Well, or maybe it's just on credit. I don't know. Uh, but I see people with very expensive tastes, and they're indulging them. Like when you go, I noticed in traffic today, or in parking lot too. It's all really new SUVs. You don't see regular old cars or older vehicles. It's all really new stuff. So it must be a priority, and I guess it is to people. And I don't like the way things are going. And the problem is, I know it's only going to get worse. I mean, I think the stress that I'm seeing in people is eventually just going to blow. I don't know how it can't. But it does not look healthy to me. Funny too, I noticed prices keep going up on stuff. I don't buy stuff that people normally buy, but of the stuff that I do buy, I do once in a while say, oh, no, I'm not going to pay that, I can get by without that. Even today in the checkout line, as I was leaving Fleet Farm, here in the line there was a freezer with, ice cream treats. And I thought, oh, well, okay, before I take off, I'll have myself a treat. And then I look, and $3 for a regular ice cream sandwich, the regular generic type of ice cream sandwich. To me, worth at most $1. And they wanted 3? I can't see that. Not for me. I mean, there's a lot of times the stuff I look at it and think, well, I could make use of this. Oh, not at that price, At least my beverage is still reasonably priced. But I see people buying, they're buying stuff. You know, like now for their, their lake weekends, I guess, the price is no object then. They're buying, because normally, like around here, I was actually surprised there was a little traffic in town. Sometimes, like on a weekend, everybody from this area heads into Minnesota during the summer. So it'll be like deserted, that's a good time to go do anything you have to do. There was a few people around though, but I'm sure they'll be gone tomorrow. About years ago, I went time in the middle of summer, I went to a movie theater. There was some movie, I don't remember what it was, that I wanted to see. I was actually the only person in the theater, and they actually ran the movie for me. But it was, middle of the day, weekend in the summer. Town is just deserted. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see how the people do. I see like all the bars and restaurants have got business. There's cars parked full up in the parking lot there. So people are still spending money on that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't have a very optimistic outlook on things, so like I say, I think things are, the tension is going to boil over. Well, and then like I noticed, those farmers having a little fit in the Netherlands, justifiably so. They can't learn, these green people. You got to work towards something like that. You just don't try to jam it down somebody's throat, and that's what they're trying to do. So there's a bit of a revolt. And what I think is funny, I was talking to somebody today, and I mentioned that they hadn't even heard of this. If you're not keeping up on that stuff, it's not in our news at all. But I think it's because the same like when the Canadian trucker strike was going on, they don't want to talk about it here because they're definitely afraid that same sort of thing could happen here, which it very easily could. And of course they would overreact like the Canadians did. We have some strange leadership, really quite surprising. Every day you look at the news and you think, oh, what terrible thing am I going to see now? And there's always something. And it's funny, like with Biden now and his denigrating the Supreme Court, that's a wild thing for a president to do. I mean, there are co-equal parts of the government. You should be able to accept their decision, but he doesn't want to accept it. He kind of wants to work around behind them. Weird. Very weird. And it always gets me too, like the Supreme Court shouldn't be political, but yet they have made it political. It always surprises me, like when they have these Supreme Court decisions, in my mind, this should always be a unanimous decision. A thing is right or wrong. There should be no, other factors in this, and they put politics into it. That isn't how it's supposed to work. That's a strange thing. And then when you got the president interjecting politics into Supreme Court decisions, that's not good at all. No, I am not optimistic about the future of this country. I mean, maybe down the line, well, we're going to have to go through a hell of an upheaval. What you do, every day you look at the news and think, well, what antics are going to be up to now? There's always something new. some horrible, yeah, it's surprising. But it is a little disturbing that they are actually, uh, you know, keeping anything like that off of our news here. You know, because like this person listens to the mainstream news, and that's it, and they take that for a fact. And that's not a fact at all on almost anything. You know, it's part of an agenda. I don't know. You know, I wish more people would really look into things a little. You shouldn't have to. You should be able to count on the news giving you facts, but that ain't how it works. So you got to go looking for the facts yourself. You know, what I had mentioned the other day about yesterday I think it was, about the insurance companies, you know, with their 40% increase in unexplained deaths. You know what's going to happen? I could just see this, that the insurance companies are going to demand some sort of bailout from the government for the hit that they're taking, and they will package it as uh, like some kind of COVID relief. But like I say, these deaths aren't COVID related. That's the other factor. But I think the problem is the insurance companies, they deal with this sort of thing all the time with trends and numbers, and they know what is at fault here. They aren't saying it, but all they have to do is tell the government, okay, either you give us a bailout or we're going to let the facts out. You know, and I think they would bail them. Though I would really love to see, you know, those insurance companies, you know, they can't keep paying out at that rate. You know, this is on life insurance, and all these mysterious young people dying of, you know, and they got the goods, so they've got a justification to actually kind of blackmail the government into giving them a bailout. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, we bail out banks, we bail out all kinds of stuff. So if they can package this as a COVID-related bailout, that the insurance companies have lost so much money because of COVID, though these deaths aren't related to COVID, except in, you know, a kind of a additional way that you're not allowed to talk about. But I think what will happen is the insurance companies will say, give us money or we will talk about it. So the truth might come out. They have incentive to tell if they don't get a payout, but just keep an eye on that. If all of a sudden the insurance companies get, you know, some kind of bailout, and watch to see how they package this. The wording in this will be very interesting, because they can't say that it's the vaccine. They have to say that it is, well, I guess like they're trying to say, oh, it's the stress. You know, like I say, they're looking for all other factors. But it's plain what it is, and they know what it is. So I think they're going to be looking for a bailout. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's a possibility, though. I don't know where all this money's going to come from. What are you going to do? I mean, this thing could die any moment, but I was going to mention one other thing that, you know, when he was talking about releasing fuel gas from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to bring gas prices down, you know, that emergency reserve that was meant for if we have wars or something. And then it turns out quite a little went to China and a bunch of other countries, but what went to China went to a company that Hunter Biden is heavily invested in. Boy, that's a tangled web of deceit in that Biden bunch. That's going to be tough to clean that out. But they really should get at it. So I'm sure they're trying to hide as much as they can, but all of a sudden this kind of thing pops up that, oh yeah, Hunter's up to his eyeballs in that company. You know, I don't know. Somebody's got to be working on that. You know, you can't let, you know, because it isn't going to bring gas prices down here. It was never going to bring gas prices down here. But there's a reason for that reserve, and it wasn't to be used as a political tool, you know, to bargain and then to make money for your kid. You know, oh, boy, that's a snaky bunch. I'm surprised they let them get by this long. Well, they're all kind of in on this together, but damn, that's a shameful way to be working. That's about it.